Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. We're back at it, breaking down whatever this is that they have going on. But before we do that, because things can be stressful, take a look see here.
Thank you for coming, everybody. My wife, Melania, is so excited to read a Christmas book.
No, I'm not. I hate Christmas.
If you read it, I won't talk to you for 3 whole days.
And now, because December, I read you 2 Christmas book.
And as soon as she's done, I better hear so many thank yous.
Should we maybe get one of the kids to do it? It would probably be a lot fucking faster.
Please be quiet, she's starting.
I want to gently pull your hair as you look up. Oh, no, sorry, that's wrong book. That's Note from Sexy Governor.
Wait a minute, what?
No, go back. I want to hear that one.
Hold on, let me sit on the couch first.
Okay, I found it. Christmas is special.
Holy we're gonna be here till New Year's. Hey, is this why you guys have so much trouble reading a fucking room?
Rooms don't have words, idiot.
Get fucked, you duster. Why are you getting the anti-clause to read fucking Christmas books?
Don't call her that.
Oh, sorry, how about Wreath Wrecker?
No.
Sleigh Stopper?
Stop it.
The Peppermint Pessimist?
Please stop him.
Snowflakes of Sadness.
That one, actually, not so bad.
You're like someone ordered a Grinch off Temu, and the penis was 3 sizes too small.
Well, as always, let's dive deep into all things we know thus far on the Kirks. When we last left off, it had been rumored on the interwebs and somewhat substantiated by Kirk's sister and Candace Owen that their home was up for sale and that they were presumably on their way to divorce court. So let's see what else we have in store.
Just this morning, Candace Owen released irrefutable evidence and documentation that Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk filed for a disillusionment of marriage 2 days before his assassination. There are actual text messages back and forth between Erika and Charlie discussing.
Did you guys see this recent interview with Erika Kirk?
There's other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened, my phone died. It became a black hole. I just didn't turn it on for weeks on end. I've intentionally insulated myself because I need to guard my heart, and I need to be there for my kids, and I need to be there for Turning Point.
I swear to God, this woman and her fake acting gets me every time. First of all, you did not isolate yourself. You were there at every single event. You did every single speech. You didn't even wait to become the CEO at Turning Point. You moved on faster than they found Tyler Robinson, even though we all know there was definitely some military-style stuff going on. You held an entire rally for your husband's memorial with fireworks. And then she proceeds to say this.
And what I've realized through all of this is that everyone grieves differently. Everyone is trying to figure out, and I don't blame them, how does this happen?
I think we're way past everyone grieves differently. This just tells me how much of a gaslighter she is. Grief has turned to branding. If you bought into it, that's exactly what they want you to do.
It's funny that she would choose to say that her phone is like, I want you all to realize and really take in how much lying occurs on a day-to-day basis with conservatives, that they truly think that they can do whatever in front of the camera and tell you the opposite. It is no different than what Trump does. It really isn't. Like, we have watched her not take a moment to grieve. But let's continue.
Telling micro lies, tiny little misrepresentations, tiny little half-truths that right out of the gate seems altogether unnecessary. It really makes me wonder, who are they protecting exactly? You'll see oftentimes they and other influencers will invoke Erika as the reason that it's not appropriate to ask questions. It's just not appropriate while Erika is still mourning for you guys to ask any questions. And I'm just going to come back at you with some common sense. What sort of widow wouldn't want people to investigate the assassination of their husband? She has not explicitly said that, But the influencers are invoking that, right? They're invoking, like, it's not appropriate right now for people to be asking questions. That's what I mean when I say they are David hogging us, okay? You could also use another example, somebody that was on the right, Kyle Khrushchev. What essentially means is that when a tragedy takes place and we are emotional, our emotions are raw. Me especially, I think this was the first time where I couldn't really check my
Grief has a process. Everybody moves through that process at different speeds and in different orders, but you still go through the process. Since Charlie Kirk's death in September, Erika Kirk has amassed $10 million in donations, secured becoming the CEO of Turning Point, securing almost $400,000 annually in salary. There is a fundraising leg of conservatism that's going to, according to them, continue to fundraise for her to ensure that the family is okay. Before Kirk's death, there was a $10 million life insurance policy taken out, and he put together a lot of shell corporations to ensure that Erika and their children would be financially taken care of. I'm saying their children because that's what I know at this point. There are a lot of people saying that there are no birth certificates for these children. I don't know how we would be able to confirm that when we don't have names for these children, but okay. It is what it is. But, and there is reporting saying that Erika Kirk increased the membership of Turning Point USA, but grieving and shutting herself away hasn't been one of them.
Someone went to Barron's live stream and said, hey, would you look up Mikey McCoy stuff and see if anyone's been searching Mikey McCoy? And lo and behold, there's a Google trend showing that on the 14th of July, someone in Israel searched for Mikey McCoy. That's interesting. But then, on August 15th, Mikey McCoy was searched in the Cayman Islands, which is weird. And then, on September 6th, 4 days before the assassination, someone in Israel searched Mikey McCoy's home address verbatim. Like street, like house number, street name, complete. Very specific search in Israel. All that is very weird. And you can go back to Barron's streams and watch them for yourself. I highly recommend that you do that to see the process for yourself and to validate and see the exactly how that search was done, to get a little context on it. But that's all very strange. And to clarify, when Barron does these searches, he also shows, he'll show that same search in New York and California and Arizona and the United Kingdom and Australia to show you that all these other places, no searches. But then in these places, searches, which is all very weird. And so this is where I started to realize that putting all of these searches onto a timeline might tell us something.
Now, searches mean nothing without context. People arbitrarily search up things in people every single day. I can't tell you how many times in a day I've searched up someone because somebody has sent me a message about something. I'm researching a story and a name is tossed out, or watching a video and somebody while watching a good friend of mine's show yesterday afternoon, there were quite a few names I looked up That doesn't mean anything is nefarious. And we need to stop acting as if we're contained in the United States somehow. Like, people have international audiences. Are we going to forget that, Charlie Kirk has done debates in countries outside of the United States? Like, he presumably, from how the story goes, met his wife in Israel. This is where we start to reach a bit. This is where we start to reach. And it's like, hone it in. Are there questions that need to be answered? Yes. Is 1 + 1 adding up with this case? Absolutely. It's not adding up to 2. Okay. It's adding up to 3,465. But let's not overreach and make everything a conspiracy theory. That's all I'm saying.
So how have we gone from this? That young man. I forgive him. Which was the 21st of September, and now 7 days later, we get this.
Nothing is changing, but I want to preface, we're not awkward. We're not like weird. Cringy. We're not cringe. We're not going to be tweeting as if it's him. That's tone deaf and really disturbing. And anyone who does that's like morbidly off.
Hey, we're going to be doing about 5 more episodes a week now. So just tell the team and make sure that happens.
3 hours of this, 2 more hours of podcasting.
There is just something that just doesn't feel right. It feels wrong. It feels off. And I am trying so hard not to over speculate, but it's hard when stuff like this is being put out to us. It's just not normal. It doesn't feel natural. I feel like we're watching a performance. It's almost like we're watching a movie unfold right in front of our eyes. And it's things like this that make me think that Charlie Kirk's assassination is so much bigger than we could ever imagine.
And just a reminder, that footage that was clipped into the end of that video, that's from her acting days. Okay, she was in a music video. This is why I said earlier on the Taz Effect, and in a few random social media videos today, when you look at a lot of the pictures of them together, she's not really glammed up. This is a woman who went to college, who got her degrees, who came from money, who likes being glammed up, she's a former pageant girly. Right now, she's quote unquote living her best life. Like, she really truly is. Let's see. Do I have it? I may not. But a lot of times when you see her previously with Charlie, she's very clean-faced, and that's not what she wanted. She's not this conservative darling.
Yo, I just rewatched that Erika Kirk video where she was really cravenly discussing her husband's corpse, saying there was tons of video, we filmed everything, he's going to be here for years and years, buckle up, and then gave an evil smile. Well, I just learned that Utah requires for every violent assassination or murder, they require an autopsy that can't be signed away by law. The wife can't refuse it for religious reasons. It is what is done by the state. And yet, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there was no autopsy. But there was a medical examiner in the media talking about how the projectile firearm weapon, I don't want to say what it is, stayed under his skin in the body and was retained. But if that's the case, how are they going to do ballistics? What is happening here? This is some JFK shit. None of this makes any fucking sense, and I want to know who the fuck's behind it. Bong.
Valid questions, valid questions, valid questions. And for the people who claim to be so concerned about Charlie Kirk and wanting to get people removed from academic scholarships, from their positions in the workforce, why aren't you fighting for answers, for justice? I would think you were calling for justice by making people unemployed, which the more people you take out of the economy, the more it hurts all of us. But you like it, I love it, I guess. I guess.
Did Erika Kirk just accidentally expose TPUSA for lying?
How did you find out Charlie had been shot?
Was at my mom's doctor's appointment. I put my phone down and it was on silent, so I had no reason to look back at it. I moved my mom. I went back to grab my phone, and that's when Mikey started calling me. Called me within seconds.
She said that Mikey called her within seconds, which does line up with this clip of Mikey McCoy, Charlie Kirk's chief of staff, picking up his phone as soon as Charlie was shot. We talked about this a couple weeks ago and about how bizarre and weird it was, his reaction, not running, not jumping to Charlie's aid, but instead making an immediate phone call, kind of like he knew that things were about to go down. Not saying he did, but that's what it looked like. And this led to the TPUSA folks responding, saying, no, Mikey was actually not on the phone.
They're alleging that he was on the phone immediately. He was not. He was taking social videos, which he would send to our group chat, which we would then put on Charlie's social while the event was happening, so you could see like the crowd come in or his interactions. And we were only 2 questions into this event.
Now, this is where I have to stop things because that makes no sense. In this day and age, why would you be boots on the ground and have video clips that you want to get out right away? That takes away from the right away if you're sending it to other people to go. Now, would there be an instance where other people would have to, check some things? But yeah, but Turning Point USA was very calculated. Okay, they knew that Charlie Kirk wasn't winning debates. Okay, they put out the information to let us know that he was not good at this. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter what the facts were. It was just a matter of what the incels would believe. So in that instance, they would just get the footage from the full day, as we know that there were cameras all around there, and then splice it up and clip farm and harvest it onto the internet. That doesn't make any sense. And in previous episodes here, we've gone through video with Candace Owens where we see Mikey hold the phone up to his. Everybody's lying and nobody's sitting down talking to each other to get the story straight. But why should they? Because it doesn't seem to be any actual investigation into this. Now, in my opinion, thus far in what we know, whoever she was having an affair with, or he was having an affair, everybody is okay with this and everybody is okay with him being eliminated. Not to mention, you can have a woman on a college campus for umpteen thousand years, okay? Nobody's going to bat an eye to that. That's how society is set up. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying anything on that at this point in time. Charlie Kirk would have been 31 years old this year if he would have survived. He's getting to that point where it's creepy to have him on a college campus debating people. With Erika Kirk at the helm, she can send people out to debate. She doesn't have to do the debating. She can do all the big girl stuff and the interviews and the conferences and things like that. She is willing to walk Turning Point USA into a big boy, big girl conglomerate. Where I think Charlie, his identity, his everything about him, business-wise, everything, and I think how he made friends was tied into him being the front-facing spokesperson of Turning Point USA. But to really be cemented for the long haul in U.S. politics and really be able to bring in the big bucks, so to speak, they needed this conversion to happen. Now, could he have been voted out? Yes. But who wants the scandal of that and people not really paying attention to the moves that are being made? And you wouldn't have really been able to have the transition the way that you had, because at that point, sides would have had to have been taken, and that's not what they want. And you can't really preach conservatism with people so young going through a divorce. See, they don't mind in the conservative circles, older people, 40 and over, having a divorce, irreconcilable differences. But not the eugenics couple that met in Israel.
And that's when Mikey started calling me. Called me within seconds. And that's when Mikey started calling me. Called me within seconds.
I called Erika. I just remember it rang like 3 or 4 times. I didn't know what to say. Those are the words that will change someone's life forever, and you have to be the one to say it. That was the first time I've ever called her during a campus tour stop.
And so Mikey called me, and I'll never forget him just being like, Charlie's been shot. He's been shot. Get the kids. Get security. Get the kids. Get the kids. He's been shot. I sprinted out of her treatment center. I just collapsed in the middle of the parking lot. Called our security.
First time I've called Erika, pause, while out on the trail. He's been shot. Grab the kids. Grab the kids. Aren't there security protocols? And if he's been shot and you think that they're going after the family next, why weren't police alerted? Why wasn't security alerted and then security contacting her face to face? And what happened to the whole, her phone died? See, I don't think it's some grand conspiracy theory. I mean, it's a tale as old as time. Sometimes the business partners and wives that don't like, well, spouses that don't like their partners team up. Sometimes it's one or the other, one convincing the other to help out. But I don't believe that there was government interference or. Charlie Kirk was someone who called themselves a debater that didn't debate. He made a career off of what a lot of conservatives try to do on social media, especially on TikTok, regurgitate talking points. It's just that he realized how to get engagement in real life by trolling. And it didn't matter if it made him look bad. It didn't matter if it made him look stupid. It didn't matter if he was 0 for quadruple millions of debates. He was getting paid. And it was recruiting people over. These are people who watched him be a loser over and over and over again. But he had a pretty wife and he had money. So they felt that he was winning. And they looked at him and his losing and was like, see, this is why we have to band together. They are attacking us as white people. They are attacking us as white men. That's it. That's it. I mean, there are more layers.
Erika Kirk sat down for an exclusive interview on Fox News with Jesse Waters, and there are a couple of key moments that I'm going to take you through, which, after paying very close attention to this investigation and the different arguments from various sources, expose alarming inconsistencies, the biggest of which is what Erika says here about Mikey McCoy, which surprisingly I haven't seen anybody pick up on yet. It's a big one, though. Also, Erika hinted at this case being bigger than just Tyler Robinson and explained what a police officer told her about Charlie the moment that she showed up at the hospital. We'll start there. Before we do, though, and guys, and I hate having to do this, but so many of you guys watch my channel without having subscribed yet. Please do, if you believe in this God-first commentary and fight to keep America one nation under God so that we can remain free to pursue our God-given work and potential. Join me in this movement by subscribing here. I'm Zach Costello. Erika Kirk explained to Jesse Waters here the moment that she arrived at the hospital to see Charlie's body for the first time. Her answer has many suspicious of the police officer that she encountered. Listen to this.
We get into the room. One of the law enforcement guys comes in. It's very sweet, but what do you say to someone whose husband just was assassinated so publicly? I said, I've been doing this for 30-some years. He said, I will never tell you that you cannot see your husband. He said, but I, in my professional opinion, think that you should wait to see him once he's at the mortuary. Because I don't think you want to see him like this. And the room got quiet because half the room knew it's probably a good idea. And the other half of the room was like, there is no way she's listening to you right now. And I responded back to him and I said, with all due respect, sir, I said, I want to see what they did to my husband, and I want to give him a kiss.
This is a woman who knew that her mother was going through something. She needed support. Her husband was going off to work. Did they need the money? They were not hard pressed for money, but he would be traveling out of state. She admitted unprovoked that they did not spend the night together that night. That morning, they did not hug or kiss each other or say any sweet pleasantries as they departed from one another. But I want you to realize what she did. What she did in that interview, and this is the part that's missed. She stole the sentiment of Mamie Till, the mother of Emmett Till. She wanted everyone to see what was done to her son. She wanted to see her son's body, how it was left. Erika Kirk is not stupid. Once again, she is a Juris Doctor. So she knows what she's invoking. Whether you realize what emotions are invoked in you by hearing, I want to see what they did to him. Yeah. And I want you to think about any losses that you have suffered, especially unexpected losses that can't be immediately explained to you. How calm are you going to be? And sitting there trying to act as if, I was instantly so stoic for my husband. Then why aren't you leading the charge for an investigation for justice? I challenge everybody that every time you see Erika Kirk, place her into a Law and Order episode and tell me if that behavior that you're watching her exhibit, if the words you're hearing her use, if she was a character in Law and Order, would you believe her to be a victim?
Erika Kirk sat down for an exclusive interview on Fox News with Jesse Waters. The family of Tyler Robinson, according to Candace Owens, does not believe that Tyler murdered Charlie Kirk. Tyler did not confess to the crime, and now they've been placed into witness protection. There is also more video casting doubt on what authorities gave us in the immediate aftermath of the shooting that you need to see. And this comes on the heels of another theory gaining traction by Dr. Chris Martinson of Peak Prosperity, who claims to have proven that Tyler Robinson could not have taken the kill shot. A lot to get through today. Let's get into it. I'm Zach Costello. Okay, so the narrative that we have been told is that Tyler Robinson's mother recognized him from the photos that the FBI released of the individual in the stairwell at UVU. His mother then told his father, who then called Tyler, talking him out of killing himself, and then consulted with a family friend in law enforcement, and they eventually convinced Tyler to turn himself in peacefully.
What Candace Owens reveals here flips that completely on its head.
Of most interest to me, what I've learned is that his father does not believe, his parents don't believe that their son committed this crime. I was like, huh? Excuse me? That's a far cry from what the media has been telling us. Remember, the media presented this amazing story. The father realized his son was guilty, so it goes, right? And then he phoned over a friend to help him convince his son to turn himself in, because this guy, you know, this mysterious guy was a friend and just had a connection with Tyler. And eventually they said, you've got to do the right thing here. We know this is you. That was the vibe. Certainly that's what the media was putting down for us to pick up. Well, I was told actually that it was kind of the opposite. That quote unquote family friend, who we learned was a former detective with the police force, at least, and so therefore has strong ties with the police station, informed the family. It was that in-between person that informed the family that Tyler had been identified as the shooter. He recognized him. He knows Tyler. He gives them the heads up. And then I'm told, and I believe this, that the way in which he got arrested, or rather turned himself in, was because that family friend slash neighbor slash former detective told him, hey, it's best for you to turn yourself in because there's only one of two options here. Either you turn yourself in and everything is peaceable, or, you know, the SWAT team could come in here and arrest you and things would get crazy. So that's what happened. He went over to their house. Tyler was called over. Tyler was bewildered. He disputed the idea that he had murdered Charlie Kirk. In fact, according to my source, Tyler has never even stepped foot on UVU campus. The family says that the photo of the young man that is coming up the stairs, which was shared, that blurry image, is definitively not Tyler Robinson. And let me just say, I never thought it looked like him. Neither did you. Okay. Face looks different. Face looks more narrow. Also, that person looks taller. Every time I say, I'm like, this person is taller than Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson also appears to have full lips, even though this image is blurry. We're not looking for someone that got fuller lips. And Tyler Robinson looks broader than that individual walking, right? So I'm on board with that person walking up the stairs. It's not Tyler Robinson, because I feel like it was intentionally blurred. They also never gave us the footage at all, because in order to blur it, they probably needed a static image.
Given the narrative that has been pushed for the past couple months, that left-leaning individuals, specifically Democrats, are violent, that's who's behind the political violence, you would think this would be the poster case. This would be the let's set an example case where every step of the way, especially the way the scene was set by Utah's governor, that, oh, they would be picking this apart and, you know, heroes would be made out of this case. Careers would be made because of this case, because justice for Charlie. Remember the hashtag, I am Charlie Kirk. But nobody's fighting for justice. And here's the thing. You can come up with whatever conspiracy you want. You can believe whatever you want when it comes to this case. But please keep in mind, white people don't care about white people. White people will use any and everyone, including their own, as a shield so that they can continue to practice their racism out proud and in the open. But just like we learned with groypas, conservatives aren't so anti-LGBTQIA plus as I guess conservatives thought.
Kirk allegedly had a subscription to a trans influencer's OF site named Jade Trap Girl TS, who has made an entire video outing her deceased customer, allegedly Charlie Kirk, whose handle was Own the Libs 1776. He spent $30,000 on her page and then stopped spending money on September 10th, the day that he passed away. This woman seemingly has receipts that Charlie Kirk indulged in her site. What does this mean? A lot. I'm former MLB agent Joshua Kusnick, and firstly, I wish he was alive to answer for this, because we all had suspicions that anyone this angry at trans people probably had a proclivity towards it. These receipts are crushing, and anyone knows the relationship between Erika Kirk, fucking Charlie Kirk, and Candace Owens isn't stunned by any of this stuff. There's been beard allegations for years, and it's sad he couldn't live his life and then hurt people in the process. I can't wait to see what happens, but this seems real. Bong. Holy shit.
So it turns out that Charlie Kirk had a thing for the dolls. Baby, I could have told you that. So it turns out that Charlie Kirk had a thing for the dolls. Baby, I could have told you that. See, every time one of these family Christian values men gets caught or exposed for sending money to trans women and black women and gay black men and the liberals with the septum rings and the pink hair, it's not surprising. It's like watching the reruns of a show that I've already binge watched. Remember our conversation about graper culture and far-right extremists having an obsession with Roman and Greek culture? Yeah. These dudes will preach about purity with their whole chest and then be in somebody's DMs with their credit cards doing the Cupid shuffle. They'll scream morals while their bank statement screams $3,000 or $300,000 or $30,000 to a fantasy that looks nothing like the woman they parade around at church. And what's funny is men like this always tell him themselves before the receipts even drop. Cause baby, what the girls, the gays, and the theys have always known is that the louder the hate, the freakier the truth. Don't y'all remember we talked about it before? Grindr crashing every time they have a Republican convention? Not glitched out, bitch. Crashed. Overloaded. And then these people have the nerve to act shocked? Baby, this is not new. This has always been a thing. As a matter of fact, I will be taking myself on a birthday thrifting spree paid for by a 3-time Trump voting MAGA conservative man, happily throwing money at me and calling himself my slave. Are we for real? The truth of the matter is these men are weak. They would rather live out their fantasies and their deepest, darkest secrets and their true selves in the closet and in the dark rather than live in their truth. Because if they were to live in their truth, they would lose their positions of status that grant them power. And that's the drug too many of them can't.
Here's the thing. They wouldn't lose their status. They wouldn't lose their power. Because they live out their fantasies with other powerful people. They keep up the facade to keep everybody else miserable, because a miserable person is easy to manipulate. And when someone is miserable, they don't want to go home. They don't want to be alone with the misery. So they'll work longer hours. They'll do the free labor of passing around propaganda. They're not hiding for their sake. They're hiding for the sake of making you miserable. That's why. Well, I will see you all tomorrow for the Taz Effect at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, 2:30 Central Standard, and then again here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central for Conversations with Taz, where we can get into some news from around the interwebs. As always, thank you for watching, and each one teach one, each one reach one. Till tomorrow.